You're watching Talking About Orks.
In this episode of Talking About Orks, we're going to be going over the Flash Gitz. Flash Gitz truly are the red-headed stepchild of the Ork Codex. They're a heavy support choice, and they have the exact same stats as knobs. Be that weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 2, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 3, 3 base attacks, but they have a 4+ armor save stock. Their only war gear is a snaz gun, which by default is a strength 5, AP D6, assault 1, 24-inch range gun. They also have the special rule Gitz, which allows them to measure to a target before deciding what their target's going to be. So they can assess if they're in range before choosing which target. You can upgrade their guns for 5 points per model. Per upgrade. There are 3 upgrades. You can upgrade them to Strength 6, you can upgrade them to Assault 2, and you can upgrade them to AP D6 -1. In addition, you may take up to 3 ammo runs for the unit. The unit can be led by Captain Badrick for 135 points. Captain Badrick includes the Ripper gun. The Ripper is 24-inch range, Strength 7, AP 2, Assault 3 gets hot. In addition, he has his own 3 ammo runs, and he comes with a 3+ armor save and a 5+ invul save. You can upgrade one Flash Gitz to a Pain Boy, just like a Knob Squad, and if you take a Pain Boy, not only do they get Feel No Pain, but the entire unit may take Cyborg Bodies for 5 points per model. So that means if you fully upgrade your Flash Gitz, they come in at 45 points per model plus 30. Yeah, 45 points per model. Flash Gitz are one of those units that are so very rarely seen that it's hard to truly judge what they can do. I've played against them a couple times, and one of the other Ork players in my gaming group has played them a few times, and they are extraordinarily underwhelming for what they can do. And just like all Ork shooting, they can be extremely unreliable. Where one game, the unit of Flash Gitz will just lay waste to whatever they touch, and the next game they'll be 400 points of do absolutely nothing. That kind of unreliability is just something that most people cannot handle. They are still knobs. They're 2 wounds, and in the assault they still get their 3 attacks at strength 4, and if they get the charge on with Furious Charge, they'll be initiative 4 with strength 5 and 4 attacks, which isn't too bad. They have no options for power claws, big choppas, combi weapons, or anything like that, so there's not a whole lot of upgrading. There is no wound allocation cheese that you can do with them, because all the gun upgrades are done by the unit, not per model, unlike the knobs. So one upgrade has to be paid for all the models in the unit. Flash Gitz suffer in a lot of ways. The biggest thing that they suffer from is the lack of a dedicated transport. If they had a dedicated transport, you would probably see them a lot more often than you do. But by the time you take the Flash Gitz on a battle wagon, that's 2 of your 3 heavy support choices. And it's really, really not worth it to do that. They are not troops, unlike the knobs can be. So there's another downside to taking Flash Gitz. And they're still stuck at Leadership 7 with no access to a boss pole. They do have the mob rule, but if you take a few losses, you're going to be under the mob rule anyway. So in addition to being expensive, foot slogging, not very resilient, they suffer from low leadership and will most likely just run away should they come under fire. There's honestly really nothing good to say about them. They're very expensive. They don't do a whole lot of damage because you're still running on that ballistic skill 2. All we can really do is talk about how they would be better. I mean, if they were ballistic skill 3 instead of that stupid pre-measure the range, or if they had the dedicated transport, or better yet both, especially for the price you pay for them, it might actually be a unit worth playing. It might be actually a unit that could do some good damage. and a good assault alternative to Ludas that are static. Because by the time you get 20 shots at strength 6 with AP D6, that could do a lot of damage. Or and the other thing is that's bad is that you have to roll your AP before you choose your target, or after you choose a target. I mean, not before. If you could roll before your target, then maybe if you roll an AP1, you could shoot at a rhino, but you don't have that option. You have to choose first, then roll your AP. So, how would you use flash gifts if you do decide to try them out? They will need a transport because they're limited range. They will need good numbers, so you're probably going to be talking at least 6 or 8 models. They're going to need the Pain Boy and the Cyborg upgrade. Yeah, the Mordaka upgrade is the only one that's probably worth taking. That gives them Assault 2. So you're talking Strength 5, APD6, Assault 2 for 30 points per model. You add in the Cyborg, so that's 35 points per model. With a 6-man unit, you're still talking well over 200 points plus the transport, which will be a looted wagon around 60 points, or a battle wagon about 120 points. So that's a lot of points investment in not a whole lot of shots without a whole lot of range and only average strength. So I haven't played Flash Gitz, but I've read a lot about them. I have seen them played. I played against them, and basically they are so unreliable as to just be no fun to play. I mean, there are fun things to play in the Ork Codex unreliable, like the shock attack gun, because you can throw out the template and see what happens. You might get teleported into close combat. You might roll those boxcars to make things go away. But at least it's fun and reliable. It can still do damage. These things even if you roll well, they still may not do any damage at all. And that's a lot of points investments. Flash Gitz are one of those is the one unit in the Ork Codex, and almost assuredly everyone will skip. Flash Gitz are fun to try, and you might want to try them in like an APOC game, where you might get some good AP rolls on them. But for any sort of competitive environment, it's just there's no point. You'd be better off with knobs, far better off with knobs, for their close combat power than trying to shoot things with their BS2. Flash Gitz, just not worth taking at all in any way, shape, or form. Skip them, please.